Hi everyone, it's Margarita and I'm back with another episode of People Jew Wanna Know podcast. This is very casually our first official video episode. If you're watching this on Spotify, I wanted it to be a video episode because I wanted you to experience the magic of what's about to come for yourself. And this isn't a play on words, I'm serious. Today's guest is an exceptional mentalist and magician, Alex Voz. Alex and I met at an Amazon corporate party where he did some mentalist techniques, and I was very excited to learn that he was Jewish because it allowed me to bring him on this podcast. This episode is video enabled because you'll get to see some of the mentalism and tricks that he does on me. I want to tell you right away that I had absolutely no idea what kind of tricks or mentalism he'd do in advance. I saw this happen for the first time. I was surprised, but it fully underscored the talent that I saw in Alex the first time I met him, so I was really excited about how this episode would turn out. And of course, as a true Eastern European, I tend to be a huge skeptic of magic and tricks. I feel that there's always obviously an explanation to how these things are executed, but I was left really amazed and surprised, especially by the last trick that Alex did. He'll tell you more about himself, but Alex wasn't always a mentalist and magician. He started working on his craft at just 4 years old, but prior to doing magic and mentalism full-time, he actually had a corporate career at Merrill Lynch. In this episode, you'll hear Alex talk about his path to mentalism, and he's been doing it for over 20 years now, and let me tell you, he is very, very good, and you're about to see it for yourselves. We also discuss magic and mentalism in general, and how so many of the best magicians and mentalists actually happen to be Jewish. I also want to mention this because we talked about it briefly in the episode, but apparently Now You See Me 3 is in the works, and if you know me, you know I am obsessed with the Now You See Me movies, so maybe this is an opportunity for a People Jew Wanna Know watch party. If you're interested, slide in those DMs at People Jew Wanna Know on Instagram. Okay, let's get to the good part. Without further ado, please enjoy this episode. Hey Alex, thank you so much for joining me on People Jew Wanna Know podcast. How are you?
Very well, how are you?
Good, thanks. I'm so excited to have you on. This is a real privilege. So let's get right to it. Tell us about yourself. What do you do and how did you get there?
So I'm a mentalist and magician. I travel the country performing at various corporate and private events. Last year I did about close to 300 shows. And my goal is always to perfect my magic and always to come up with something new because I have millions of people who are watching me. And I want to make sure that I bring as much magic as I can to the world and put smiles on as many faces as possible.
And how did you get into that? Because if I'm not mistaken, you had a corporate like Wall Street career before you decided to pursue magic full time.
Correct. I did have a Wall Street corporate career, but that was to make my Jewish parents proud. I wanted to make sure that I had smiles on their faces first before the strangers were smiling. Truth is, I started when I was 4 or 5 years old. And my uncle got me into this art. Of course, when you are 4 or 5 years old, the only thing you can do is you can take quarters out of people's ears, which is what I started with initially. And of course, it progressed from there. And coming from first generation immigrant parents who decided to take their lives here to America from Soviet Union and build upon themselves, the last thing they wanted was a son who decided to go a completely different way. And as they would say, you are not doing something professional with your life. And this is exactly why I decided to study finance in school. Medicine wasn't my thing, neither was engineering. So finance, I thought, was the way to go. And I realized that wasn't my forte. A year into working at Merrill, interestingly enough, I obtained the job by demonstrating my talents. They asked me, how would I make money for their clients? And I said, why tell you if I can show you? I didn't have a verbal answer because I didn't have a grasp on finance as well as I thought I did. So I showed them how I can turn dollars into hundreds. So I borrowed $1. There was a panel of about 5 people. I borrowed $1 from every single one of them. And I turned those dollars into $100 bills and I gave it out to all of them. I thought I would elicit a reaction. There was no reaction, but it did get me the job at Merrill, and I worked there right under a year. I left, and I never looked back.
Wow. For some reason, I thought you were going to be like, I conned them, like, where's your watch, sir? Like, you took it off, where they weren't paying attention. That would have been really slick.
Yes, I probably would have been arrested if I did something like that, but I needed to demonstrate more value to them. The value was money. How do I make money? So my whole edge was I have the time to make the money, and here is how I can make the money. I put those two things together, did that demonstration, and that's what landed me at Merrill. But my whole life was like that. It was landing me in many places. I mean, I could get my way into a seat at a fully booked out restaurant. It's funny because a lot of people actually ask me, they're like, well, did you meet your wife by doing magic? And the answer is no. She actually didn't know I was doing this until a year after. There were times in my life where I didn't quit, but I took it. I guess it was more of a hobby initially until it became a profession, and until it became a profession, that hobby was something that I would do on and off. And the time that I met her, was not doing it so much. And then after I got back into it, and then I never stopped. She was actually my greatest supporter when I took this full time.
That's amazing. And a question on that. I feel like you can't just like up and learn magic. There's some veil of secrecy around it where you have to be taught, and you probably had a mentor, or there are people that you mentee now. Is that true, or am I making that up? Is there like a secret club of magicians? How do people learn magic and mentalism?
There is a secret club of magicians. Most people that get into magic are introverts. The comedian needs to find a way to break the ice. And what they would do is they would go out and they tell a joke. And then they become the funny person. And then the class clown maybe, or, they gain popularity. Magic is the same exact way. It's the same thing. And everybody loves a good piece of magic. Everyone as a child experienced it one way or another, grandpa, uncle. And not many get bitten by the magic bug and take it to the point where I've taken it. But nonetheless, the way I learned, my uncle taught me a trick. The trick that he taught me was, I still remember to this day, he put a pen into his pocket, and then doing the hand gestures, the magical hand gestures, that pen would float out of the pocket, and the pocket was fully empty. And I had no clue. I think I was maybe 5 years old when this was happening. And he taught me the trick. I begged him, and you have to beg. Initially, you have to beg. There's no other way to get the trick out of somebody. No one's going to teach you for free. And even if you are a family member, you kind of lose that sense of, hey, magic is real, once you get taught. So he taught me, and then I took it to the streets. I remember I took it to school first, and then I actually took it to the streets here in New York City, Brighton Beach, Brooklyn. I was walking up and down the boardwalk. I put on a three-piece suit at I think I was 5'6", maybe at most, and walked up and down the boardwalk, and I would show that trick to all the senior citizens sitting on the on what do you call them, on the benches on the boardwalk, and then they would be amazed, and then they would ask me. The question always goes, "How'd you do it?" And I would say to them, "Well, if you give me $1, I'll teach you." I think that night it was my father's party. I think I raked probably a good $10 to $20 from what I was told, at least. So that means 10 to 20 people at least saw my magic, and I had to not teach them, but I had to show them the secret, and that secret cost them $1. So I guess that was my first year in doing business as a magician without realizing. It's a funny story.
Yeah, and there's something that feels very Jewish about the fact that you're going to get turned down so many times before someone takes a chance on you or wants to teach you. And honestly, there are quite a few Jewish and Israeli mentalists and magicians out there. Do you think the fact that you came from a Jewish and former Soviet Union household played a role in how you carry yourself in this persona that you embody when you do your performances?
I would say that most magicians, a vast majority of them, I feel like almost saying 90% plus, are Jewish. For instance, take David Blaine. Mom is Jewish. Take David Copperfield. He's from, I think, region of used to be Ukraine or Belarus, something around there. Obviously, of course, many don't know, but his name is not David Copperfield. It's not his real name. He had a longer Jewish last name, Russian Jewish, I think it was. Of course, myself, I have a mentor who's a big-time mentalist magician, also Jewish. Harry Houdini, who's Jewish. We have a lot of people who are magicians who have Jewish roots. It may be a Jewish thing. I don't know. And to answer the second part of your question about how having this Jewish identity played a role into me becoming the performer I am today, I don't know if I can fully say that being Jewish actually helped me in a way to become this awesome performer initially, because initially you are just learning. My identity, I didn't grow up being very religious. Of course, we have the culture, we have the traditions. I just practiced in front of the mirror. What happened was after I became this semi pro, call it, I had mentors who were then Jewish who introduced me to the Jewish markets. And I started performing at bar mitzvahs. I started performing at Jewish weddings. I started performing at Brit Milas. And I built my book of business in the Jewish community. And most people, even to this day, who hire me are Jewish. And of course, the Jewish people have tons of holidays to celebrate. And whenever they have these festivities and they want something that is unique or a special add-on to make their party memorable, to make their party a hit and different, of course, the differentiating factor is bringing somebody in who has a talent that not only performs, but it can also interact and be interactive amongst the crowd. So that is where they would bring me in, and I would do my job to not just entertain, but leave that mark on their minds and especially their hearts.
Yeah, it's amazing what you can do as part of the community. And I always wondered, I feel like the Orthodox rabbis might say that there's a line with magic and mentalism. Maybe like it's more Kabbalistic. I don't know. I was always curious about that. Like, how do Orthodox people feel about magic?
Well, I'll tell you this. I believe that Orthodox people are the ones who have seen it all because they love entertainment. And I do many events in the ultra Orthodox communities, in the Hasidic communities. They love this thing. They'd call me, every month I do an event in the religious community in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's a rabbi who's throwing a huge event for the community and wants to bring everybody together, and it would be ultra Orthodox. They'd get me to go to the bungalow communities in upstate New York and Catskills and Chabads. In Florida, would do tons of events in their communities, especially during the holidays, during Purim. Oh my God, there's at least 1 to 3 events that I would do a day during Purim in the Hasidic communities. And for some funny reason, they would always do it late at night. So I would have 1 or 2 shows earlier, and then the most religious events would take place sometimes even after 10, 11 p.m. at night.
Maybe it's because they're like fasting or they need to wait till sundown. Because I feel like there's some kind of fast that happens around Purim, like the fast of Esther.
Wrong
Yeah,
person to ask.
somebody will
Wrong
have
person.
to check on that for me. Yeah, but that would be the reason I would think why. And I want to come back to something you said earlier. So you talked a lot about the importance of this element of surprise and how the magic disappears once the surprise is gone. And the same is true for comedy. People laugh because they're surprised. They hear a joke that they didn't think the joke would take that kind of turn. Have you recently experienced any magic or mentalism that left you surprised? And what was the premise there?
Everybody in my field who does what I do knows that there are goats in this art form. And one of the goats is a gentleman by the name of Darren Brown. And he is one of the best mentalists, if not the best mentalist living today. And I had the privilege of watching his show live on multiple occasions. One of them was right before COVID, January of 2020. And I thoroughly enjoyed his show. I would say a good 30%, 30 to about 40%, I had no clue of what he was doing. And that's a big number for someone like myself. And then recently he did a show that was televised, and I watched it a few days ago. I put it on, it wasn't on Netflix, on YouTube. I put it on and I watched it, and I'll tell you, this guy brings tears to my eyes in a good way. He is absolutely fabulous. At the end of the day, mentalism is magic, right? It's magic for the mind. I think many mentalists out there who do what we do have a lot of learning ahead of them. Because in order to get to the level that Darren Brown is on, you have to be an expert in storytelling, an expert in manipulation, an expert in audience management, an expert in knowing your craft, of course. And unfortunately, many out there do not know what they're doing. So I try to learn from Darren. He is incredible. And he is somebody that fools me. If there's anybody out there that can fool me, it's him. As you can tell through me telling you this, that he is my so-called mentor, who I've personally never had the privilege of sitting down and having at least a 10-minute conversation with. I didn't meet him. I did shake his hand. I did briefly speak to him for about 30 seconds, but that's about it.
I'll have to watch that special on YouTube or the televised act that he had. I feel like if I met my hero, like this is somebody you look up to, someone that's like premier at the craft that you do, I would probably pass out if I met someone equivalent to what Darren is for you.
I don't get starstruck so much. I've been to so many events where they had celebrities. When I see them, it's so funny. When I see them and I perform for them, sometimes they even ask me, they're like, you want to take a picture? And I tell them, no, I don't.
I'm actually the same way. I don't care what it takes. I will never ask to take a photo with a celebrity. I'm too proud.
Right. Yeah, I think that's where the Jewish roots kick in.
A little backstory. You can cringe at this. I won't judge you at all. When I saw the movie Now You See Me, I was like obsessed. I thought it was such a cool movie about magic. And at the end, where it turned out that they had spent, weeks preparing these tricks and like hypnotizing these people for them to pull off these elaborate tricks. It's like, oh my God, that's so smart. I wonder if that happens like in the real world, where if you're doing a corporate event, you're going to do all this background research and hit these people with like certain signs before you do the trick. But ultimately, a part of me was always like, there's probably an element of like planting in these tricks. Like, a lot of movies about magic show that they plant someone in the audience or they plant someone with a specific response in order for the trick to be pulled off. And so one experience I saw Oz Perlman perform on Zoom during COVID for a UJA benefit event. And he did this trick, and my position on things like this is, because it's Zoom, it's like the easiest thing in the world to get someone planted in there who can help cooperate with the trick so that it's pulled off. And he had us pull out the calculator app on our phone and put in random numbers. And at the end, it matched the 12-digit number on a dollar bill that he had a volunteer pull out of his pocket. That was crazy. And so I was like, okay, there's probably like a mathematical way to make this happen. Like, I'm not smart enough to figure this out, but I can understand logically how, using advanced math, you can pull this trick off. But then the crazy thing happened, and my friend was chosen as the next volunteer, and he pulled off this very elaborate trick. And of course, I knew in advance that she did not cooperate with Oz. So that's when I knew like there's definitely something to this. And by and large, I doubt that there are, plants in every trick to pull it off correctly.
There are never any plants. And if there are, the performer is just not good. Oz is not one of them. Oz is somebody that I look up to, somebody who's been a dear friend, somebody that helped me on my path to success. He was there along the way, and he is one of my mentors. So he is the real deal. And he is absolutely amazing when it comes to bringing the crowd together and performing effects that would fool even the most sophisticated individuals out there. So with that being said, advanced math or not, people were amazed at the end, I'm sure, like you were. And whatever you did after with your friend, you realized that she's not a stooge. So everything is happening in real time.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so much that goes into it. Mentalists and magicians have to be good at reading people, reading the room, thinking on the spot, improvising. There are a lot of skills that need to be executed perfectly in order for things to be pulled off. It's a real craft. And I think one of the hardest crafts in art today. Because
Correct.
A comedian, their job is to act, right? They've learn these jokes in and out. They're performing it as if they're surprised to hear them themselves for the first time. But there's nothing, unless they're doing crowd work, the jokes are set in stone. They don't have to improvise. But with magic, you may have your trick, but based on what someone responds to you for a question that you ask them, you have to improvise right on the spot. So there's more uncertainty and ambiguity for sure.
Well, it's not always a trick. I like to call some of them experiments. For instance, if right now I ask you to think of a shape, right, and then inside that shape, think of another shape. So do that now. You have them?
Yeah.
So I brought with me, how convenient, a chalkboard,
Okay.
and chalk, and my eraser in case I am wrong. So you have a shape, and then inside of that shape, you drew another shape, correct?
Yes. I'm
So
scared.
the couple of things here, right? The first thing is there are general statistics. I don't want you to change it. I want you to stick to it. And I'm not saying that this is correct, but I just want to see how you think. I did draw something. My handwriting isn't that illegible, but tell me, what were the shapes you thought of?
You want me to tell you?
Say it.
Okay. So I was thinking of a hexagon and there was a circle inside it.
Okay. So, fine. I have a triangle and a circle inside. At least 50% of it is correct.
Yeah.
Right? But this is an example because statistically, most people go with a triangle and a circle. And the way that I embed that, essentially through video, is I say, I want you to think about a shape.
You did this. Yeah. You showed a triangle with your hands when you told me to think of a shape. That's why I didn't think of a triangle.
Right.
Because I was like, I see you.
Correct. So two parts to that, right? So I did that and then I said, and think of another shape inside that shape. And I did the circle,
you showed the circle motion with your hands. So it did work for the circle. Yeah.
Right. So, but at the same time, you see what you're doing is you're realizing that I'm trying to instill that and you're trying to go for something completely different. Hexagon is not a common choice at all. But now, because I know how you think, I can progress, right? Because people are different. So now I can progress. I can go further with it. So now I can say, I want you to think of a number between 1 and 10.
Okay.
You have one?
Yes.
First number that pops up. Don't change your mind.
Yeah, I have it.
You have it. Okay. So I'll write a number. Chalk goes down. Yes or no? Did you go for the number 7?
I went for 6.
You went for 6. Okay. So most people actually go for number 7. That's what most people do.
Because it's a lucky number. Yeah.
Right. Not that it's just a lucky number. Just most people go for the number 7. So again, I had 7, and again, my handwriting is not that legible, so my apologies. But I went with number 7. So most people will go with 7. So that's the other part too. Now we go further. You went 1 lower than a 7. I did get the circle, but let's say I was completely off, even though I was close by 1 number to that number 7. You had 6. So now I want you to think of a number up to 100.
Okay.
Okay. Now here's the funny thing. Most people, when they think of a 9 to be part of that number. So they might go with like 99. Hey, maybe some. It's a common number. People go with 99. People love going with 69, and then they have a laugh at it, right? Yeah, or they'll go for the same number they went with before. Those skeptics usually do that. So you have a number in mind.
Yes.
Now here's what I'm going to do. I want you to change that number. So go for a completely different one.
Okay.
You have it?
Yes.
So you had a number. Now you didn't know you were going to be here where you are now, correct?
Yep.
So I'll try to make this a little bit more neater. I'll write that. What'd you go with?
The original number or the one that I changed?
Not original. What'd you change it to? The number that you have right now, what is it?
14.
14. What was the original number?
28.
Well, forget 28 because 14.
Oh my God, it's 14 on the chalkboard. How did you?
Right? 14.
It's because 7 stuck with me. I don't know what the explanation is actually, but wow, you did guess 14 correctly.
So we progress, right? So now you take 14, and then I know now I'm starting to get a hang of you, or a hang of your mind, I should say.
Yeah.
And I can play with it, right? Like I can say, for instance, come a little bit closer to the camera. A little bit closer, right? Now you see how you laughed when I said that? Because even though we are in a different place, I mean, we're in New York. You're in New York?
Yeah.
You're in New York. I'm in New York, but I'm in Queens. You are where?
Well, actually, I'm in Hoboken. I'm in New
Okay,
Jersey.
all right, you're in New Jersey. I'm in Queens, but I'm telling you, come closer. And even though we are far away from each other, it feels like this is for real, right? And it's like, I don't want to show my face so close, right? So these are just natural emotions that people listen. Now, I want you to think about your name,
Okay.
okay? So now I want you to tell me your name, but lie to me.
As in, tell you a different name?
Correct.
My name is Britney Spears.
Your name is Britney Spears. Okay, now I want you to tell me your real name.
My name is Margarita Lyadova.
Okay, now here, just so I can explain what you did there. I mean, I'm not sure if you noticed it. It's subconscious. People do not notice these things. That's what I have to feed off of. I have to use that to my advantage. What you did is
Interesting.
when you lied to me, I told you to lie to me. So when you lied
Yeah.
to me, you said, my name is Britney Spears. If you replayed this, you'll notice that when you did that, you looked down and to the left when you lied to me. When you told me the truth, you looked directly into the camera. So when people tell you the truth, they usually look directly at you. If they're lying, they usually look elsewhere. Now, there aren't so many commonalities. For instance, if people are trying to make something up when they are lying, because it could go specific, they'll try to create, and that creator usually looks up. I don't know if it's because the creator is up there or they're trying to be creative or what, but I look at it as the creators up there. So when they create the lie, they look up. Sometimes people look down when they're ashamed when it comes to lying. Others look to the side. Now you look to the side and down, right? So what happens is if I give you a coin right now and I say I want you to hold it in one of your hands, and then you bring your hands forward like so, and your coin is either in the left or the right hand, and I say, I want you to say yes every time I ask. Okay, is the coin in your left hand? You tell me yes. I say the coin in your right hand. You tell me yes. And then I say, well, why wouldn't you tell me? The coin is in my left hand. And then again, you repeat that, but you say this time the coin is in my right hand. When you do that, naturally, you will not look directly straight at me. You will look down to your left. So if you say the coin's in my left hand, you might do it for just a millisecond, but that's how I would know that it would not be in that hand because you followed the pattern that you followed before when it came to lying. So I use
Wow.
all of that to my advantage to then try to create this phenomenon that you would call magic.
Wait, so now I know when somebody's out there lying. I'm just gonna look at the next guy I go on a date with, look them dead in the eye, and see where they're looking.
Hey, listen, you could do that with dates. I'll do that with people that are my spectators. Some could do it with their husbands and wives.
Yeah, is this your best price? That's a great way to gauge. You ask someone if that's their best price, and then you see where they look.
Oh, it's phenomenal in sales, which is part of what I do. I have a whole section on my website dedicated to sales. I literally just got a phone call yesterday. They want to fly me out of Vegas to help them sell their products and services. So I said to them, I don't know what your fee is, what you're willing to spend. I don't care what it is. I want to know what your product is, and I want you to give me a commission because I know that I'll be able to get the people to buy. I can instill whatever I need into their minds and get them to purchase. Get their attention initially, build a rapport, keep them, and then help to close them. And magic is such a beneficial skill, as you can see.
Did they agree?
Oh, I sent a proposal, so we're still
Okay,
waiting
so
for
to be
confirmation.
confirmed.
This just happened yesterday, so we need at least
Okay.
probably 24, 48 hours. Hope I'm hoping I'll hear from them by this Friday.
Yeah. Well, I have my fingers crossed for you.
Yes, it'll be exciting. It won't be my first run, but something that I'm good at.
Alex, is there any other trick that you can show us today that we can put in the episode? Because this is really fun.
Putting me on the spot right now, but we can try.
Okay, let's
We
do
can
it.
try. So, do you believe in time travel?
No,
You know, why not?
I don't think it's possible.
Calculators were used before, and then you spoke about something called advanced mathematics. Uh, I won't replicate that same effect, but I do
Okay.
want to do this. Take out your phone, and I want you to put it face down on the palm of your hand.
Yep, I have it.
Now, you're saying you do not believe in time travel, But let me ask you this. If it was possible, would you rather fly or go back in time, or would you go forward into the future?
That's a hard one. Probably back because I'm too scared to see something in the future that I won't be able to control.
I like the answer. So imagine going back. But for experiment, and here's my phone, I want you to think about a minute mark. Let's go up to 10 minutes.
Okay.
2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 8 minutes, 9 minutes. I mean, it's your choice. Where do you want to be? How many minutes?
Okay. You want me to
Name
tell
it.
you?
Say it.
8 minutes.
8 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, you could have chosen any minute mark, correct?
Yeah, 1 in 10.
I want you to see this. I'm going to bring this thing closer.
Yeah, it's got 1:23 on it, which is when we're
But
recording.
if we go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right there.
1:15. Oh my God, it's 1:15. That's weird.
And then all of a sudden, right now, check your phone and just check the time everywhere. We just went back.
Yeah, it's
8 minutes.
1:15.
Now it's 1:16 because time is still moving forward.
Yeah.
Right? So time went back and now went forward. That's what's crazy about this, right? We go backwards and we go forwards. Let's go forward this time. Now,
Okay.
here's what I mean. Progression, right? I want you to close your eyes and I want you to put your phone face down the palm of your hand again.
Okay.
And I want you to think about a clock. So right in front of you, you have a clock. There's nothing else. It is a black clock and it has white numbers that are all around from 12 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Right in the middle of that clock should be a circular shaped figure that would then possess those hands called minutes and hours. But in your clock, the hours and minutes are gone. There isn't any hour, there isn't any minute hand. It's just a blank clock with numbers on it. Now, I want you to imagine that an hour is appearing.
Hours
It's
away.
almost like that the hour is appearing. So it's almost like it's fading in. It's fading in. Not fading out, but it's fading in. And you see that hour. And not only do you see that hour, you know exactly what that hour is. So I want you to keep that in your mind, that hour. Now, I want you to imagine a minute hand appearing. And a minute hand appears, and then not only does it appear, it starts to spin, and it's spinning fast. It's spinning, 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 spinning. All of a sudden, it starts to slow down, kind of like a roulette table, right? Or a roulette wheel, I should say. And then it just stops. It just lands on a number. So now you have an hour and you have a minute in mind. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Open your eyes. Tell me. Your hour and minute, what was it?
It was 1:42.
And that's completely your choice, right?
Yeah.
I want you to see this. I'm going to show you. I'm going to spin my watch around.
What the hell?
As a matter of fact, to make this easier, I will take it off just so I can show it clear.
Yeah, it's 1:42.
1:42.
That's so interesting. And it's a black face with white numbers. Exactly. And I can say, like, I have not noticed or seen your watch. Like, I was not paying attention to your watch or had any ability to see it. We can see it on the recording. That's wild. Wow. I'm stumped. That is for sure. This has been a real treat. Thanks for doing this. I guess in closing here, as you think about the audience of this podcast, which are young Jewish professionals, is there anything that you've learned through your years of doing mentalism and magic? Any words of wisdom, of advice that you've heard that you'd want to share?
So many different advices were given to me throughout the years. I'm 34 years old. Started doing this when I was 5, 6. Professionally, I was doing it, say, in the last 10, 11 years. I've been on this road and full time. And I realized earlier during my 20s that if you feel like something is not working for you and you do not get that gratification, you have like a bird has wings to fly and be anywhere. You have your hands and you have your legs to do whatever you want and go wherever you want. So I think sticking to something that you do not like is torture. So you want to put yourself into a position where you get the gratification and you're able to set yourself up for whatever it is. It doesn't have to be for a successful future. I mean, that's important. But initially, you want to make sure that you're happy first. When you are happy and you know that you are great at whatever this thing that you are doing, if you move forward with that and you learn how to take it to the next level, or how the youngsters like to say now, level up, then you'll find yourself in a position that can put you out there in the world as the person that we should listen to, whether you'll start having advice for other people, because they'll notice that, and you'll notice yourself, your family will notice, everybody will notice. You're happier, you're smarter, you are doing good by others, you're helping, you're building a family, at least in my case. That's what it all came down to. Would I be able to provide? That's what people think about initially, especially having your Jewish identity. Can you go out there and provide and be a good family man? They do not ask you, will you be happy and satisfied with the work that you are doing? That's not the question they ask. Can you provide? But if you can be happy and provide, I think that's the most important thing, because I know so many people out there that provide, but they are just not happy. So that's my word of advice. I think that is one of the best things that I've heard, is to move forward with what you like. Put yourself in that position first, and then go out there and share it with your family, with the world, with whoever.
Thanks so much, Alex. And as we close here, how can people connect with you on social media and learn more about your work and your upcoming shows or events?
I'm on social media as Alex Voz Magic. You can find me there. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn. And you can find me on my website if you want to see more videos and my services and what I offer on alexvozmagic.com or alexvoz.com.
Thanks. And last question for you. It's one that I ask every single guest of the podcast. Who would you like to nominate for People Jew Want to Know?
Thought about that question earlier. Who would I love to nominate? And the person that I can think of is Ari Alayev.
Who are they? Tell us more.
Ari is somebody who I met quite recently, a man of integrity, I should say, a man of his word. There are many people that promise you that they're going to do something. Hey, I'll introduce you to, David Blaine, David Copperfield, and then they disappear from the face of earth. He is somebody who said to me, Alex, I am at the basketball game. I love what you do. And I saw that he had courtside seats. And I said, man, I'd love to come with you one day. And he goes, when would you like to come? And I said, whenever you have availability. He goes, I'll send you a calendar. So he sent me a calendar. He goes, when would you like to come? So I said, I'll come Thursday. And he brought me in. He did not even know who I was. And very successful entrepreneur, incredibly humble, great family man. I would like to nominate him. I think he would be awesome for this.
Thank you so much for that nomination. This has been a real magical experience. What can I say? Thanks for doing this, Alex.
Yeah, no problem. It's my pleasure. Thank you for doing this and bringing people like myself on your platform.
Absolutely. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please go ahead and rate us 5 stars. Be the first to hear our episodes by subscribing to People Jew Want to Know wherever you get your podcasts. And for exclusive content, follow us on Instagram at People Jew Want to Know.